Welcome to the Spent the Rent podcast. I am your host, Patty Rose. My guest today is a dear friend of mine, Jake Overtime Williams, and his new tattoo parlor, the SubDermal Art Collective. Jake, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How's it going?
This is really cool. This is, I think, the second time you've been on, and you've been a sponsor of mine for quite a while now with another project that you're a part of, 45 Degrees Northwest, which is kind of an outdoor enthusiast community, which is really cool. And now that's expanded, and since we've been friends for a long time and you've supported me by donating to the podcast monthly, now the Art Collective is a sponsor as well, which is really cool. So tell us about this big news. You just started a new place. Tell us what the SubDermal Art Collective is all about.
So yeah, me and Jonathan have been talking about doing something like this for a while, and during the whole shutdown, all the cards just kind of fell into place, and we decided to kind of pull the trigger and see what happens. So we're currently in one side of the building. We actually are just signing a lease this week, so we're getting ready to expand into the other side. And we plan on doing a tattoo school here pretty soon. We're going to offer some art classes like drawing, painting, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So it's going to be, like I said in the show notes, it's going to be a lot more than just a tattoo parlor, just a tattoo shop. This is a community gathering place, and it's pretty exciting. Obviously, Art collective. Yeah, I think that's not just a cool phrase. It's a true thing that you're doing. Right. So you've been my tattoo artist for a while. I have not personally met Jonathan. He's busy back there, so you'll have to talk for him. But and your guest as well. It's cool that she was allowing us to have her on camera. That's
right.
Cool.
Right.
So Jonathan has been in Eugene for quite a while. I know you are born and raised in Springfield, Eugene area.
Yeah. Jonathan's kind of been in and out of Eugene, Springfield area for probably about the last 6 or 7 years. Moved to town about 3 or 4 years ago and started working with us over at Endr Won. He's been tattooing for about 18 years now.
Wow. How many years have you been at it now?
I've been tattooing about 9 years, almost 9 years now with license.
You're right. Time flies. So There's a lot of combined experience, and anybody that's listening to this can click on the website that I'll have in the show notes. I'm going to link your Facebook and your Instagram, and you guys can see just the incredible amount of talent. It's amazing. I always love to say it with you because I remember when you first started, and not only have you come a long way, now you're one of the best in town. So it's really cool to see.
Thanks, it's funny, I get people that say that all the time, actually. Running into old friends from high school and stuff, they're always like, man, when you first started, I don't know.
No, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's just because you were so public about it. And we talked about that at length. Anybody that's listening can go back to the interview that me and you did. And it was really cool because we talked at length about just the starting out process, which I think was really inspiring that you were willing to share that. And then look where you are today. I mean, we're only seeing a little bit, but if anybody is listening to this or watching the video, they can go to the SubDermal Art Collective Facebook page, and there's a live feed that kind of really goes into what you guys are all about. My goal today was just to kind of give you guys a plug to get some name recognition so that people can know, because this is brand new and this is a really exciting thing. So now, we had mentioned you're not only going to be doing tattoos, so you're also, before we get into the other stuff, you have another tattoo artist that's also on board. What's his name?
Right. So we have Ryan Non-Clerk. He actually got his license the day before he came in and started working with us.
Nice.
But yeah, he's doing really, really good. I mean, we're super impressed with his work and just extremely excited to have him, We've also got Ira Bartlett. He's moving up here from, I believe, Grants Pass area. He's a friend of ours, he's been in the industry for probably 8 or 9 years now as well. And he's been wanting to come into the Eugene area, and he's seen that we were going to do our thing, and he was the first person to contact us and wanted to jump on board. So we're super excited to get him in here.
Yeah, I've heard that name. I'm not super versed on the tattoo community, but Ira Bartlett is a name that I've heard for sure. Yeah. So you've also have something set up with a nail technician, and you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Steph, what's her last name? Steph Loger. She's going to be coming in on the 1st, actually. So just next week.
And so your books, how can people schedule? Do they reach out individually, or do you have a website?
Yeah, contact the shop, email, the phone number is 654-5079. Facebook always is a great tool. It's pretty easy to put a face to a name and keep track of any dialogue and stuff like that. So,
and I'll be posting this obviously on Facebook. And so, yeah, again, in the show notes, there'll be a link. And I encourage anybody to click on those. Now, there is a couple Facebook pages. You have a page as an individual, like a business, and also a group. Is that correct?
Yeah. So there's SubDermal and then Art Collective as one word, and that's like an actual, like friend page, like a person. And then we have the SubDermal Art Collective fan page as well. And that's, obviously set up more like a business page and stuff.
So is there one that you guys kind of prefer people to reach out to that's easier to manage the messages?
I think we're leaning a little bit more towards our business page or fan page.
Okay.
But I mean, we're currently using both of them. I mean, we stay on top of it pretty well. So
nice. Yeah, that's always a tricky thing. I don't know if people realize that when you message a business, sometimes it can get lost in the shuffle, because it's a different app on your phone, and if you're on the go. But you guys are probably living at the tattoo parlor, basically. So your access to the messenger apps and stuff with your iPad is probably pretty good.
Right. Yeah. Me and Jonathan are actually booking into October already.
Oh my God.
And then Ryan's he's definitely got some openings here and there, but we're keeping him pretty busy as well. And as soon as Ira gets in here, I'm sure Ira's schedule is going to stack up. So right now is a good opportunity to get hold of either one of those guys.
That's pretty crazy. Months ahead, and that's a a testament to the work that you've done in the industry and how far you've came. And also with COVID, it's impossible for us not to talk about how is that kind of. It's interesting because you guys, instead of kind of letting it break you down, you went all in and
so that's kind of the crazy thing about how COVID worked out for us, dude. I mean, we would not be here today having this conversation if it weren't for COVID. I mean, we were talking about doing this, but we had plans to do this like later on. Like our goal was the end of this year that we were going to try and get into a shop. And I mean, we're put out of work, and things start getting tight, and you start thinking about options. And Jonathan got hold of me one morning and was like, "Hey, we should go look at some of these places that are listed." And the two places that we were interested in going and seeing, it was actually the same property owner. So we went into, she actually owns the Lane building across from the electric station. And so we went down there and looked at one of her storefronts, and one of my friends actually already tattoos out of that building. So obviously that was a no-go, like right away. So she brought us over here, and in this location, in the listing, it said that there were actually two storefronts, and there was the option to either rent one of them or rent both. And we came in here, and she brought us into the smaller side, which is kind of set up more like an art gallery. We loved it right away. It's a beautiful, like, old historic building. Like, this building was built in 1924. It used to be an old grocery store or something like that, And so we were pretty excited. And then she was like, "Well, since you guys are here," she's like, "I'll take you next door so you can see the other side." And so the two storefronts are set up to where there's a break room and a bathroom in between. And so the two storefronts would actually share that space. And so we just walked through over to the other side, and I got like goosebumps as soon as we walked in there, dude. I mean, the shop is just beautiful. So, we didn't even know if we were going to get to open. Like, we had no idea when we were even going to get to go back to work, So when we signed the lease, I mean, we just played it safe, went for the smaller side that's more affordable. And so now we're 2 months in, and we're about to sign the lease for the other side, and we're going to move the tattoo shop over there. And then once we get the school and everything going, the school will be on this side.
So that is massive. I mean, as far as the property, and again, I'm gonna repeat a bunch of stuff, but the live feed, you guys kind of give a walkthrough, and it's amazing how much space you have. It's got to feel nice, I mean, you guys have bounced around. I know you've bounced around with a few different parlors, and not only to have your own place where you set the tempo and you get to create the culture, which is huge, but also just the amount of room. And then did I notice that, like, one of the things that I noticed, there's like lighting on top of each little station. Did you add that?
Yeah, no, it was all set up like that already, man.
It's so
That's
cool.
why I said we walked into the other side and it just gave me goosebumps right away.
Oh man,
Jonathan had to like hold me back because I was ready to sign the lease.
you have to fight. You have to negotiate a little bit, you know. So
Right, right.
and hopefully,
No, and actually, I won't go into all the details, but the property owner, Kathy, she owns this building in the Lane building. I mean, she has done things for us that you just don't see very often in the community. So it's pretty awesome.
that's pretty
A lot
great.
a lot of respect for her.
Especially right now. And I think that with tattooing in general, I mean, it's we as a society have come a long way the way we look at it. And I don't know very many people that don't have tattoos.
Right.
But the thing is, I think what you're doing as a whole community gathering place is pretty incredible because, as you know, I don't know if we've mentioned this yet on the recording. So the goal is to open a school essentially.
Right.
And
Right.
you can tell us a little bit more about that.
So Oregon's kind of weird, dude. It's typically like you go back east and in an apprenticeship, like you're gonna go in and kiss somebody's butt, and you might spend 3, 4, 5 years. I've heard of people doing like 6-year apprenticeships before they're ready to actually tattoo. In Oregon, you go to school, So in Oregon, it's really about how quick you can pay off the fees to get through your school. So I know that I personally know that there's schools in town that are pushing kids out in like 3 or 4 months, and in 3 or 4 months to train to like permanently mark somebody's body is just ridiculous.
Sure.
It should be extensive enough to where when they're stepping out the door, they can walk into any shop that they want to and start tattooing right now. So the goal is to kind of up the game, to kind of elevate the schools and elevate the education and stuff like that. So we're pretty excited to get going.
So now when you say school, obviously you're going to be doing tattoo or teaching tattooing,
Right.
but there's also some plans for more than that, right? So maybe day sessions for all ages of just art in general. Is that true?
Right. Yeah. So since we're going to have the gallery and we've got the extra space, we're going to try and do art shows. We're going to offer up gallery space, if people want to come in and hang some of their art on the wall. We're open to that, and we'd appreciate it if anybody contacted us that wants to do that. We're going to try and offer some painting classes, drawing classes, all kinds of different stuff. I've got somebody that's really connected with the veteran community, and she's actually going to set us up once we're up and running, or the school's up and running. She's going to try and set us up so that we can bring veterans in, and the military branches that they served under will actually pay their school and tuition for.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Give an opportunity, because a lot of times for veterans, it's difficult to land the right career where, so that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. I know a couple of guys that work up in Portland that, they reached out to me a few years ago and they were like, hey, will you teach me? And I was like, no, I'm not going to teach you, but if you're serious about it, like here's some options that you can look into. And both of those guys are tattooing currently up in Portland right now. They've been tattooing for at least a couple of years each. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool to, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So 3rd and High is the location. And so if anybody knows that area, you're right kind of in a nice part of Eugene. There's a lot of good businesses, long-standing businesses. It's amazing that this business was even available. Do you know what was there before?
So I've heard it was like a flooring company, or they might have done some type of like embroidery, like work on clothes or something. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it was.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. So yeah, so SubDermal Art Collective, everybody that's listening to this, make sure to follow the socials, and Instagram is a great place, especially for tattoos, because all your work is posted on that. And so you can scroll through and see all the amazing, colorful artwork. It's pretty incredible the work that you guys do and what you're able to do in an afternoon on someone's body that they then it's life-changing when someone gets a really quality tattoo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a lady in here last night just doing an art consult and just talking ideas with her, and she's doing a memorial tattoo for a pet that she lost, and just the ideas that I had like put her in tears, so it's cool to be a part of that kind of stuff, you know?
I usually don't like it when people cry at the barbershop, but still.
Right.
So,
Right.
so, well, Jake, we're going to make this short and sweet because I really want to encourage anybody listening to watch the live feed, because that's where you guys really got into it. You're doing some really cool things. Now with COVID, it's limited on how many people can call and kind of find out more about the process of scheduling.
Right.
Obviously, you're having no issue scheduling that. That's the benefit of having the huge area that you have to work with, is that you can social distance and all that good stuff.
Right. Yeah, the state's got some guidelines that we're adhering to. I mean, obviously you can see, Jonathan and his client wearing their masks in the background and stuff. And yeah, I mean, we're pretty much like not walk-in, but appointment only right now. The state's kind of recommending that we don't do any walk-in business. So hopefully all those mandates get lifted pretty soon, and all of us can go back to life as normal,
Yeah, it's hard to say. I know for the barbershop, it's been a hassle because we are a walk-in only shop, and we've only been doing appointments, and people have been really respectful and understanding of how that's working. We were fortunate that we just launched a website, and that's something I'll talk to you off air. If you need help with a website, you know who to talk to. I've done totally. The Wix design websites they're spendy, but man, they're nice. And if they're
that's actually what I use for 45 Degrees Northwest. So
So if you need,
I've got some experience with it.
Well, if you need some help with that, I am very interested. We could do some trade talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I enjoy it, and I'm 2 for 2. I've made the podcast one, I've made the barbershop one, and so I'd love to take my hand at that. Plus,
I'm gonna have to come see you too. Me and my little boy are still kind of rocking our quarantine cuts,
Right. And with the kind of work that you guys do, what a joy to create something like that, like a website, because there's so much art that you've done. I mean, that's what you do, So we'll talk about that later off air, but that's a good opportunity for both of us. So so SubDermal Art Collective, thank you guys, and for the sponsorship. Tell Jonathan behind you that I really appreciate your guys' sponsorship for the podcast. We're gonna keep doing what we do, and what I love. One thing about this, and we're not going to get into politics, I promise, but I love that me and you have some different views, and we come together as family almost. And that's something that we need right now. We need leadership of people that can have different views, that can really cherish each other. So Jake, I have the most respect for you as a human being.
Likewise, brother.
And then doing this interview a little behind the scenes is that you are in excruciating pain. So I appreciate, so spent some time.
I'm kind of rocking back and forth here, and that's kind of why I'm like leaning forward and stuff. So
so spend some time.
Hopefully all that goes away pretty soon. Nothing. I haven't been diagnosed with anything or anything like that yet, and no, I don't have COVID.
Right.
It's
yeah.
Injury. It's not from an illness.
We don't want some rumors. We're just getting old, Jake. It happens. You you stretch in the shower, and you're like, "What the heck was that?" But
Actually, the nurse was actually amazed that I'm 38 years old and I've never had surgery before. I was like, well, I hope it doesn't start now.
Yeah, right. Me neither. So SubDermal Art Collective, Jake Overtime Williams, Jonathan Wade. It's really cool, to talk to you and learn more about this. And again, go to their Facebook page, find the live feed that they posted within the last couple of days, and you can learn so much more about it, and watch the walkthrough. As soon as COVID is kind of gone or whatnot, or more manageable, and then you've got the whole thing popping off, I want to do a walkthrough podcast episode. So we'll do another one of these, but I appreciate you for talking to us, and I'm going to end this with a really cool song. Endr Won just dropped a new single called Doors, and it's about perseverance and just following through, and don't let keep knocking at that door. And so I thought it was fitting for this, not only because it just came out, but also because what your guys are doing is taking a huge leap of faith and just kept knocking at that door. I think it's really cool that you didn't start out your career as an owner because you've seen how to do things wrong.
Right.
So now
I've definitely seen how to do some things the wrong way.
And it's kind of one of those things that as an employee or an independent contractor of a business, sometimes it's really nice to be able to kind of sit back and learn from it, and then just focus on the art. So like it's cool you're giving back, because that tattoo artist that just started, Ryan, I know that you're going to be an incredible mentor for him. So that's really exciting. And
he actually just walked in. And Jonathan, dude, he's been, 18 years. The guy's been like all over the fucking country. I don't even know how many states he's tattooed in, but I mean, world of experience right here. So
speaking of that, so now traveling the country and doing tattoos, one of the cool things in the tattoo business is when you have guest artists.
yeah, we've actually got some coming in pretty soon, actually.
Yeah, so another reason to kind of follow the socials, because you'll be posting about guest artists, and with the amount of space that you have, that's going to give an opportunity that you can almost have a rotating station. That's going to be really very instrumental for that. So, okay, well, SubDermal Art Collective, thanks a lot for talking to us. This is Endr Won with the song Doors. Thanks a lot, Jake.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You see, I got a couple thousand Facebook fans. Maybe I got a few more on my Instagram. Maybe you saw me on a stage at a show you've seen. But let me tell you what you don't see. What you don't see is this work that I put in, like I divert where you're looking. The promoters that told me I wasn't worth it to book it, fishing for answers, but feeling like the worm with its hooking. Cause with every move I make, it's like the further it's pushed. And I even tried the battle scene before I had an album out yet. On YouTube with those L's, yeah, it hurt, but I took it. And when I did have a show and had to get there for sound check, and my fucking bitch ass manager at work said I couldn't, so I left anyways. Like it never occurred that I shouldn't, cause I want change, and I'm willing to search through the cushions. You see, ironically, even though I've been burnt, I'm cooking, my demons still here. I just finally learned where to put them. See, I'm not perfect, I'm human. I share my hurt in my music, and by accident I started up a personal movement, and people still look down at me like, what on earth are you doing? No idea, but you'll find out when I first get my foot into those doors. With no remorse, bang, 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 with a SWAT team force, like it's anyone. Knocking on doors that were locked before, and I bang, bang, bang. I will not be ignored. Is anyone? Yeah, I'm knocking like is anyone? I feel it when people see me now in public or at shows. Like this unsaid assumption that I am so blessed, and it's not wrong, but there's so much more that people don't know. Like when you see me at the top, you forget I climb steps even when life is a mess. The bills are piled on the desk, my wife is stressed from all the money and the time I invest, and all I can muster up to say is I'm trying my best, knowing sadly I could be making more if I did less. And yeah, sure, some might call that pride, I guess, but I will not become what I detest just for some guy who writes a check. I don't want that kind of debt. Without a diamond on my neck, I've earned all of my respect. I've shed blood, cried, and sweat with every motherfucking word that I have said. And something in my heart says I'ma find what's next, but I don't expect you to hear this beat inside my chest. And I don't know how many I have left. That's why I knock on those doors with no remorse. Bang, 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 with a SWAT team force, like is anyone. Knocking on doors that were locked before, and I bang, bang, bang. I will not be ignored. Is anyone? To be honest, I shouldn't be here, and I don't just mean here. I'm lucky just to breathe air and see these things I see here. See, one thing I can declare, I know this might be it, but I don't pay attention to you clowns you see. I don't feed fear. I can kill any beat, leave this booth, a murder scene here. I kill it then leave it, like move along, nothing to see here. But I get asked a lot why I'm so grateful to be here. Truthfully, it's cause I thought I'd die before I'd reach here. And now I'm climate change, you can't deny I'm high to reach here. And I'm on borrowed time, so every day for me's a leap year. It's kinda like a drunk at the bar that they giving free beer. Ironic when I say I'm sober, it's not for your 3 cheers. And yeah, I know, for most rappers that might seem weird, but if you want a stake in this game, you better beware. I work so hard, you think there's 2 of me, I'm so prepared. I waited too long for this opportunity to be scared, while other rappers love to brag about staying strapped with a tool, sipping lean by a pool, and hoes relaxing in the beach chair. I'd rather brag about picking my son up from school every day and not having to ask if dad'll be at those doors with no remorse.